Hey guys, first I want to say Happy New Year. Second, I want to apologize because it is not January 1st, and I think the last time we all chatted, it was New Year's Eve. I was taking a walk in my area. I'm doing it again today, and just a small confession my last video and my last walk was 13 days ago. So I figure, hey, just because I didn't do it last week doesn't mean I can't do it this week. So here is our neighborhood walk and neighborhood chat. I think the last time we were chatting, I was just reflecting on the past year, reflecting on life lessons, just reflecting on a whole lot of stuff, and I decided that this year, and of course the last time we talked was last year, I decided that this year would be the year that I am going to reflect on the things that used to make me happy as a kid and try to tap into that same energy I had. And if I can remember correctly, I think reading and fashion were the two things, because that's what I remember today. So apparently those were two. Anyway, so for the past week, week and a half, I guess you can say, I've been somewhat tapping into that, exploring different things I can do as an adult that feeds that those desires and dreams I had back then. What I can do now as a full-grown, big old adult that will generate the same passions and interests that I had back then. So that's what I've been doing, guys. And so today I'm kind of just taking a walk. Granted, I'm gonna give myself some grace regarding the walking. Today is probably the first day that it's been both sunny and warm enough to get outside and walk. So it's about 54, 55 degrees, which actually still is too cold. But I said, nah, you gotta get your body moving. You haven't been out in about years. Not years, I'm sorry, in days. Okay, y'all. I'm all for electric cars, but they don't make any noise when they come down the street. And one just passed here. Anyway, so decided to come on, take a walk today. And I know people are gonna think I'm crazy because they ain't used to seeing people with a camera filming themselves taking a walk and talking to themselves. So hold on one second. Hello. So I'm back. Anyway, it's been a minute since I've taken a walk. So I probably won't walk my entire route I walked when we last chatted just because I want to be able to do this tomorrow. And don't want to be hurting too bad to not be able to do it. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. One thing, yeah, y'all, I will go off on different subjects, so I'm gonna ask y'all to try to follow me. Try to stay with me. So I was just talking about reflecting on what I talked about last time. So today's walk and talk is probably going to center more around setting plans and goals for 2025. Most people will say it's too late. I never believe it's too late to start anything. So, in case you guys don't know, I'm a realtor here in Houston, and that is my full-time job. That's what I do 7 days a week. I'm not gonna say 24 hours a day because I do sleep and I do eat and I do rest. So, but that's what I do. And so this year, I want it to be a much better year than last year. My year 2024 was not anything what I expected. And I'm not even going to give myself any grace because I will be honest, I fell off the wagon really bad. So I had some things come up. I think I talked about health and stuff last time. And I decided that was the most important thing to focus on. And for me, focusing on that was making sure everything was in line. So this year I'm at a healthier space, mentally and physically, to take on this wonderful world of real estate. I actually love real estate. Let me get how I got into it. So, true story. When I moved here back in the late 90s, I'm not going to say which year, but I've been here a minute. When I moved here in the late 90s, I actually I started dating this guy. And, during our conversations, he brought up the fact, he was looking for a house, and he had been looking for a house for about a year. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't say it out loud, but I'm thinking to myself, why is it taking you so long to find a house? In my brain, I know a home is a big investment. I understand it. I get it. I really get it. But my thing is, if you're really serious about something, it shouldn't take you that long. Especially something, in my eyes, I felt was as simple as buying a house. So, a lot of people are driving today. So let me take the sidewalk back. So, I just feel that way. I feel if you want something, it shouldn't take you all day to get it. Now, I'm not going to say you should rush into things. Things do come, I believe, in times and seasons. But this here, it's like all these houses in Houston. Are you really serious about buying a house? So we actually had that talk, and I kid you not, guys. So that talk may have been maybe, I'm gonna say March, April that year. And by maybe July, August, it's been a minute, y'all. Gotta realize this happened in the late 90s. Okay, so I would say maybe 3 months later, he had a contract and he built from dirt. Okay, keep that there. So he, decided on a house, bought a house, built it from scratch. I call it from scratch, from dirt. In real estate, we call it a dirt sale. That means you pick your lot and you can watch them pour your foundation and everything. So, needless to say, built the house, he moved in the house, and he'd been in the house a few months. Now, note, I was living in an apartment. I grew up in a little house, very little house. But all my adult life, I've only lived in apartments. I did not rent a house. I've always lived in apartments. One of the things I hate about apartments is that you can't paint the walls. And one thing about Sherry, I hated plain white beige walls. I hated it. From my first apartment to my last apartment. I hated the walls. You couldn't do much to them. You couldn't do nothing. You couldn't do much to the home. So, I made all of my apartments feel as homey as I could with, what you can do and all that. So one day, sitting on the floor in his brand new house, I'm sitting around, and I kind of remember the dates of this one, y'all. That conversation occurred in April, and I'm going to give y'all the year. So this was April 2000. That conversation occurred. I was sitting on the floor in his house, and I said, I'm gonna buy me a house. And he was like, what? I said, I want to buy a house. I said, I'm tired of looking at white walls. So y'all, the reason why I got a house, not because I wanted, I'm being honest, not because I wanted to invest in my future, not that I wanted to own real estate. It wasn't any of that. Anything that would logically be a reason for someone to buy a house was not my reason. My reason for buying a house is because I wanted to paint some walls. And I figure if I'm paying rent, I can pay a mortgage and paint some walls. So needless to say, that conversation took place around April-ish. Maybe beginning of April. I don't know why I'm thinking spring break time frame, Easter kind of. So anyway, what I did know is I liked the area of town I was living in. I wanted something, for me. I wanted something, I didn't need anything big because it was just me. But I knew I wanted at least 2 to 3 bedrooms because at the time, family would come visit me here and I wanted somewhere for them to stay. So I started looking at, matter of fact, I was looking in the neighborhood where I live now. And there were some townhomes out here and stuff, and I started pricing them, and they were, even at that point, they were older. Because I think they were built like in the 80s or something. So they were already older, but I didn't care because I just wanted somewhere to paint, where I can paint some walls, right? So that's what I did. I looked around, and as I'm riding the area, I saw these houses. So I found out where the builder, what you call it, the Lord, I have a brain fart here. I found where the sales office. Whoa, Sherry. I found out where the sales office was. Went to the sales office and they were giving me prices of a brand new home, and they were only maybe about 10,000 more than the townhomes that are older. So guess what Sherry chose? Sherry chose to get her a brand new house. So that's how I got my first home, guys. I got my first home because I went to paint some walls. And I tell people that story and they're like, real? I'm like, yeah. Had nothing to do with home ownership, building equity, none of that. No wealth, none of that. It was about me wanting to paint some walls because I hated white walls. So that's how I ended up in my home. And ever since then, I really got into new homes because you can go into a community and go and look at their inventory, their model homes, and you can see how they're decorated, paint colors they use, and stuff like that. I still like doing that even today. You get ideas about decor, design, things like that. What's the in colors? What's the in things? So that's how I got into real estate. I was an owner first. I wasn't a salesperson first. I was an owner first. So that was, I think I'd say I was going to give y'all the year. That was in 2000. So we had that conversation in April. By May 15th, I had signed a contract. And by June, they broke ground on my home. And I literally have because I didn't have a video camera. Yeah, in 2000, we were still using video cameras. I didn't have a video camera, so I took pictures from the time they dug the trenches and set the ground for foundation to I got my keys. So I still have those pictures. I think I need to digitize them, even though the truth of the matter is I'm probably the only person in the world that really cares about those pictures. But that's a moment in my life that it's amazing. I learned through that experience. When you want something bad enough, you will find a way to make it happen. Because y'all got to think about this. I had not made plans to buy a house. I didn't know anything about buying a house. I kind of learned a little by going through the experience with my boyfriend at the time. So I learned about earnest money, and I learned about closing costs. Now, when I signed that contract, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I signed that contract. I did have earnest money. I think it was like $1,000. Where she ever found $1,000? I don't know. That was back in 2000. Apparently, I had $1,000 sitting somewhere. Put down $1,000. Came back to the apartment. went to my computer and said, how in the world am I going to save up enough money to close on this house? So you remember, I signed in May. I closed in November. So that's about 6 months. So I had 6 months to come up with thousands of dollars, not hundreds, not 1,000, not 2,000, thousands of dollars. For some reason, I knew I can do it. It's amazing the amount of money I was wasting. And I'm saying wasting. I really wasn't wasting it. I mean, I was using everything I was paying for, but I realized what I was willing to sacrifice to get this house. So cable went off. I had to keep the internet because at that time, that's how I printed up my Yahoo Maps so I can find my way around the city because we didn't have GPS on our phones back then. So I needed the internet for that. And I cut all kinds of stuff out. And I was able to save like almost $1,000 a month. I wasn't making a whole lot of money back then. I was doing okay for a single girl. With no, it was just me. And I wasn't an extravagant person. So in 6 months, I was able to move into my house. And that is the story of how I got into real estate. I became an owner. Loved the process. I've heard horror stories about people buying houses and building houses. I loved my process. And I know it was due to, fortunately, I worked with a builder back then, and the sales guy was he wanted me to close, but he didn't want me to close and regret it. The lender I worked with at the time, they wanted me to close. They didn't want me to close and regret it. I was fortunate. I didn't have representation. I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I told y'all, the only thing I knew about when I went into this was earnest money and closing, because I didn't really ask my mom. Man, I wasn't in my boyfriend's financial business, so I didn't really know about mortgages and how all that worked. So I literally learned on the fly. I would not recommend that, especially in this day and age. I mean, y'all, I've seen some things in these real estate streets, and I'm like, how do people sleep at night? So with that being said, my very first real estate transaction was involved with a very unscrupulous lender, to the point I had to move my client to another lender 3 days before closing. That wasn't my first experience, I'm lying. But that was one of my first experiences. It wasn't too long after I'd gotten in the game. But, so, that's how I got in. First an owner. Then, let's see, that was in 2000. Then in 2003, a friend of mine, we came up with this grand scam, this great idea, right? Hey, we need other sources of income. Let's go get our real estate license. That's what we did. And to show you guys how life works and how I'm so glad I listened and did that. Didn't have a clue why I was doing it. I just did it. I mean, I knew I was doing it, but I didn't realize how important it was to do that. So during that time, I had gotten laid off from a job and had found another job. From that experience, that's when I realized I need to have another source of income. Granted, that transition from the job I got laid off from the next job was very smooth because the company gave us a great severance. So I was able to manage all of that, but no, I didn't really feel it. So got another job, worked that job. While working that job, my friend and I were like, we're going to real estate school. We want to sell houses. Because, that's when all the shows were just starting to come on the scene about real estate, and HGTV was on the scene. They were just coming out, and so you were really motivated, and I was excited. So I did it. We went, we took the classes, We took the prep course, and right before I was about to take the prep course, I got laid off again. These little dogs make the most noise. But the interesting thing is, I didn't see that coming. So I'm so glad I did it, because I literally got laid off the week I was taking my last class that we were scheduled to take. Yeah, because we took it together. We took the prep course that next weekend. So it was a Saturday and Sunday weekend course. Oh, Lord, somebody's window got broken into. Oof. Glass. Oh, no, that's just a bottle. So anyway, getting back to the story. Got laid off, y'all. Went to work. Second layoff in 6 months. So, fortunately, I had to hurry up, take this prep course, and pass this exam, because I needed to figure out a way how to live, right? So, did that. Took the prep course that weekend, took my test that Tuesday afternoon, passed it. I was officially a licensed real estate agent in the state of Texas. So in 2003 is when I got my license. So I've been licensed for 22 years. I love it. I love the idea of helping people reach their dream, their goal. And that's kind of getting back to the discussion we had last time on our walk, helping people reach their goal. That seems to be the theme of my life. Whether I do it through real estate, whether I do it through a job, it seems like my gift to the world is to hear your dream, your goal, and I figure out a way to make it happen for you. So if you want to buy a house, I'll figure out a way to make it happen for you. You want to save money, I'll figure out a way to make it happen for you. That just seems to be my gift. And I really came to that conclusion a few years ago. And so my next question to myself is, of course, well, what do you do with this? Because when I reflected on all the jobs I've had, all the people I've encountered in my life, it's like if they share a dream or a goal with me, I take it and run with it. And it could be somewhat dangerous. So I always tell people, if you're not serious, don't tell me. Because I will take it and run with it. If this is what you want to do, if you really want to do it, tell me. If you're just joking around, don't tell me. Because I will take it and run with it. So, been walking a while. I'm actually doing the same route I did the last time. I decided I'm not that tired, so I'll go ahead and finish this off. So that's how I got into real estate. That's what I do now. And in every capacity of my life, I realized that my gift is hearing dreams and making them come to pass. And it did sound a little churchy, but that's what I do. You tell me your dream, I figure out how to make it happen. That's what it is. And I've always been looking for, quote, a skill set. Like, some people are good. Like my husband, he's great at cooking. He's great at cooking and fixing things, like mechanically. That is his gift. He shows love through food and fixing things. So I've always felt like I had to have a tangible skill, or tangible gifts, such as singing, like good with numbers. I'm pretty good with numbers, but I wouldn't consider it a gift. Like a doctor, a lawyer, an athlete, an entertainer, something people can see. Either see, touch, and feel. I, on the other hand, and that's what I've been looking for all this time. Like, what's my purpose? What's my gift? We always taught, not we always taught, but I was taught that everyone has a gift. And the best way to live your life is to operate in your gift. Well, I've been spending a whole lot of time trying to figure out this gift. I can't wrap this in a box and give it to somebody. I can't record it and send it to somebody. You know, my gift is intangible. You can't even hear my gift. You can't really see my gift. You can't touch and feel my gift. So I've come to the conclusion through this walk, thank you guys for listening, that it's okay to have an intangible gift. It's okay to not have a gift like everybody else. So my gift is helping other people reach their goals, their dreams, their desires. I'm good at finding resources for people. I'm great with coming up with solutions for people. I guess I just have to accept my gift isn't singing or, all that other stuff, right? So that's what I'm going to accept that. That's my true gift. My passions and my gift. So do I help others in the space of real estate? Do I help others in the space of fashion? Do I help others in the space of writing and reading and writing books and stuff? Because I've done that too, by the way. And that's another thing. I reflect on my life. I have done a whole lot of stuff that don't relate to nothing. Even my jobs. When I look at all my jobs, I always used to tell people I had a dyslexic resume, because I have worked in so many different industries, doing so many different things, and some people would equate it to a jack of all trades, but a master of none. But what I'm realizing now as I'm talking about it, my mastery is helping people. Every single job I've had, I've always made sure I did two things. One, learn as much as I could about that industry, that job, everybody else's job, because one, I love information. And two, use what I learned to help somebody else. So every job I've had, sound like they're about to bust through the gate. Okay, so y'all know my concern with dogs, right? Anyway, so that's the two lessons I've learned. How to take that skill set, all the stuff I learned, and help somebody else. I've been called a walking encyclopedia. I've been told I need to be on Jeopardy. Just all kinds of stuff. Like, I don't know. I just learn and I retain information. So, I've just about made it back. And so I'm going to leave you guys with this. Whatever your gift is, share it, because that's what it's for. God didn't give us these gifts just to sit on a shelf. And we can waste our entire lives trying to make it the way we want it to be, which I'm guilty of. But I've learned that my helping other people reach their goals is a gift and not just an administrative duty. So, all right, y'all. It was fun. That walk felt good. I really needed that. So, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. And like I said, use your gift. Don't hide it. Accept it. And bless someone with it. So until our next walk, see you guys later. Bye.